in 2019 and 10,000 meters. Senior for Boise State, Clare O'Brien. Pac-12 runner-up in 1,500 meters in 2019. Running for Stanford, junior Jessica Lawson. The national U20 record holder of France, freshman for the Ducks, Alicia Zarbo.
The start list on the board.
Senior Carmela Reinhardt. Back for a second visit to Hayward Field. That's a cross-country qualifier.
A few athletes to watch. Certainly Cardama-Baez of Oregon. Donahue of Stanford, O'Brien of Boise State, Lawson of Stanford. Zarbo of Oregon will actually, wearing hip 5, will be one of our pace setters.
Women's 5,000 meters.
Olympic Trials qualifying standard here is 15:20.
These athletes have the advantage of having those rabbits up front. So you basically, that first few laps, you need to be sure you're putting yourself in position to be able to use those, draft off of those, and not get yourself too far out of contention early on. Certainly you want to be patient, but you need to balance that with not letting yourself get complacent and settle into the chase pack.
And maybe as to be expected, the couple of rabbits up front, we have Messler and Zarbo right on their heels. Oregon's Cardama-Baez, 5K, 10K runner, looking for tremendous time tonight.
I spoke yesterday with Oregon head coach Robert Johnson about Cardama-Baez, and he said that she is aiming to run both the 5 and the 10K at the NCAA preliminary meet in hopes of having the option of either competing in both or being able to decide which one she would like to contend for at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. She's currently among the best at 10,000 meters, season best of 32:57 in the 10K, now dropping down and trying to put herself in contention over the speedier 5,000 meter distance. Another athlete to watch is the one that you have kind of following the back of that lead pack, Clare O'Brien from Boise State. Currently among those who are qualified best, among the best in the country as well in the 10K. She won that Hayward Premier meet at 10,000 meters just 3 weeks ago. 32:43 for her time there. That was also the 4th best in program history. Talking with her coach, Corey Emmels, he said that she battled injuries last year in 2020. Her career would have been done. He calls this season, she's been given a gift, getting that additional year of eligibility, earning that back because of the cancellation of the 2020 outdoor season, and she's taking none of it for granted. She feels so fortunate to be able to have additional time at the collegiate level and to be healthy at this point in her season.
We've talked about this almost ad nauseum, Lara, that where the COVID season of loss of competition has not been for naught. It's actually been, for a lot of cases, an opportunity to heal, an opportunity to just build fitness instead of having to race weekend after weekend after weekend. And I think we may see the dividends of that coming up not only this season, but some future seasons to come.
Some packing strategy up front. The Oregon athletes using each other very well, as they often do in training when they're racing and practicing on this very oval. So using one another to share in those duties up front. Again, Clare O'Brien, the native of Australia, doing a great job of positioning herself right up there in the mix.
Cardama-Baez right on Zarbo's heels. Also, Hannah Reinhardt, the senior from Oregon. So it's a little duck party up front with some Broncos rounding out this lead pack.
Reinhardt has really good 1500-meter speed. So if this evolves into a kicker's race, look for her to be one of those in contention who's going to be able to rely on her speed, having run a 4:14.91 for 1500 meters in this outdoor season.
And here's the chase pack in this women's 5K. All still shooting for tremendous times, it's just at a different level than this invitational lead pack. As you noted, Lara, that the Boise State team, thinking about the focal point they had on the cross-country season in this sort of altered cross-country season that occurred NCAA's 3 days after the indoor NCAA championships. They're really an interesting opportunity for O'Brien to test the legs, test the speed, test the sharpness, and no better place to do it than right here in this really prestigious 5K.
Absolutely. She has phenomenal strength coming off of that great base that they had and their performance that this team had at the NCAA cross-country championships. So looking to convert that onto the track, a number of opportunities that she's already raced this outdoor season. So continuing to capitalize on this. They're very evenly paced still, kind of continuing almost that metronome-like pace over the 400 meters. I'm eager to see who's going to be the one to threaten for the lead and test the rest of the field. Looks like Zarbo
still leading the pack,
little bit, doing the duties in the front of the field.
Zarbo starting to look like she's ready to peel off. Perhaps not feeling as sharp as she was hoping. I believe they wanted to have some pace setting through 3,000 meters.
Zarbo will step to the outside, having paced this group early on and has done her job, and now it's left.
So this leaves Cardama-Baez, Clare O'Brien of Boise State, and Reinhardt of Oregon, your top three in contention for this women's 5K. Cardama-Baez, a significant contender in both 5K and 10,000 meters at the NCAA championship level. So looking at this opportunity to nail down a time that validates her fitness and puts her in a position to perform well at the regionals and NCAA championships. And here is Reinhardt now taking on leading duties. I'm sure some level of teamwork here, if we can anticipate that a little bit.
I'm confident that there was a conversation prior to that once those rabbits relinquished their leading duties, that these athletes would do a bit of handing off and trading of the lead up front to provide some relief for one another and challenge O'Brien to contend with them. So those Oregon athletes are going to need to use one another because O'Brien is in phenomenal strategic position right now, and they are not going to want to let this pace get any slower. They're going to want to continue what they've set, early on, and then over the final half mile or so, likely increase that pace. Reinhardt's best over 5,000 meters is indoors. She's clocked 16:01. So you would imagine that she could make great strides in improving upon that time, converting to the 400-meter outdoor track. So regardless of how the rest of this falls from a position standpoint, as long as she stays in contention up there, she's likely going to set a significant improvement for her personal best. I mentioned Clare O'Brien's strength at the 10,000 meters. As you also said, Cardama-Baez has both of those athletes strong at 5 and 10K. O'Brien has great 3,000 meter capabilities too. She was a two-time Mountain West champion, winning the indoor 3,000 and also part of their championship distance medley relay team.
Looking at a little bit of shuffling here.
Making a bold move on the back stretch.
76.4 on that last lap.
Cardama-Baez.
She can rely
Reinhardt
heavily
now dropping
on that
back to
strength
third.
She has coming off of that cross-country competition, that cross-country season that she competed in, and well rolled that into success over 10,000 meters. So certainly confident in her training base and her endurance. She knows the speed that Reinhardt has.
Less than 4 laps to go now. Cardama-Baez, your leader. O'Brien and Reinhardt still all three in a pack. We've got the chase pack about 100 meters back. And they'll have 4 laps remaining as they cross the start-finish line as well.
Cardama-Baez is not going to relinquish this lead very easily. It's likely going to take a couple of opportunities for someone, primarily O'Brien, to get on her shoulder and try to wear her down. Being on her home track, knowing what she has, that goal that she has in mind of contending in both the 10,000 meter and 5,000 meter, she's going to make the most of this opportunity. These athletes certainly going to see each other again at the NCAA level to some degree.
Less than 3 laps to go here for the leaders.
Rapidly, with that, seeing how their turnover is rapidly quickening, imposing some distance between those top two and Hannah Reinhardt. Even as this continues
That's
to
4K
get more
complete right there. 1 kilometer remaining.
As it continues to get more competitive and this pace rapidly quickens, it has had no effect really on the poise and how relaxed Cardama-Baez has appeared throughout the duration of this race. As you see that shot, that nice close shot where we were straight on, you could see her face was still nice and relaxed. No panic in that upper body, doesn't appear to be straining. This is a point where O'Brien's coming back. She's going to try to threaten again and put herself in position to take command.
Less than 800 meters to go for Cardama-Baez and O'Brien of Boise State. Two athletes looking for a tremendous time here today in the women's 5,000 meters. Baez continuing to ratchet it up every time O'Brien comes up on her shoulder. Ever the competitor, Cardama-Baez ready for a breakout time to establish
But
a
O'Brien
position
has
so
not
she
been
knows she's ready
stifled.
to compete.
Every
And O'Brien
single
into the
time,
lead, just as you were saying that, Lara.
the resilience of Clare O'Brien to keep just coming back. She gets up there, she challenges, and then Cardama-Baez doesn't give it up. So she goes, okay, I'm going to set, I'm going to regroup, I'm going to be patient, I'm going to wait for the next opportunity. She just continues to knock at that door. Now she's going to try to kick that door down.
But giving it up on the inside, Cardama-Baez reestablishing her position in the front. 1 lap remaining. Here comes the bell. Cardama-Baez, O'Brien.
O'Brien cannot allow Cardama-Baez to get any extra distance on this backstretch. She's either going to have to take the lead or hang as close as she can to Baez's outside shoulder and let her pull her through until they come off that final turn.
Now into the final turn we go. Cardama-Baez, O'Brien past the steeple barrier. That's 150 remaining. Cardama-Baez battling O'Brien, not giving up. Into the home stretch we come. Got less than 100 meters down the home stretch, 50 meters remaining. Cardama-Baez putting some significant daylight over this last lap, really the last 200 meters. Cardama-Baez, your victor, the Women's Invitational 5K.
Cardama-Baez was just so hungry for victory. It was almost as if she stopped looking at the clock altogether and was racing purely for victory, not going to be bested on her home track. The mark, the time was a bonus. It was all about contending and competing. And what a valiant back and forth we saw between Carmela Cardama-Baez and Clare O'Brien. Just incredible competitors over the course of competition, each sharing the lead up front. Baez just seemed like each and every time that O'Brien came back and was threatening for that lead, Baez was able to channel some of that and contain as much as she needed to have that final juice for that closing kick that you mentioned, Rob. It was that closing 150 meters when they got over by that steeple barrier, the water pit that's on the inside of the track, where she was just so hungry for victory and was able to dig deep and find that gear that she needed. But Clare O'Brien is going to be a name to remember with the competitor that she is and the way that she raced and just would not be defeated and was so resilient in finding that poise, coming back to contend for the lead just continuously.
Cardama-Baez and Reinhardt on their teammate victory lap. Baez, your victor. Reinhardt finishing in third. Getting a little celebratory
Helen Lehman Winters.
high five from their coach.